Hey there, welcome back to Commercial Catherine, the series where I break down commercial real estate like never before. Today, we're covering one of the most powerful tools in your investor toolkit, the capitalization rate, also known as cap rate. Whether you're purchasing your first building or brokering your next deal, this metric is key to making sure that you're making the right investment, whether it's for you or for your clients. So, let's get right into it. So, what is a cap rate? In simple terms, a cap rate is the rate on return in which you'd earn if you were to purchase a property. By definition, a cap rate is a financial metric used to measure the potential return on investment, also known as ROI, for a property. It's calculated by dividing the net operating income, or NOI, by its current market value. Okay, and it's expressed as a percentage. So essentially, it represents the annual rate of return an investor can expect from a property based on its income generating ability. So let's get into the formula and how to calculate a cap rate. Okay. So now I am going to show you the formula and how we calculate a cap rate. So to get a cap rate, you have your cap rate equals NOI, which is your net operating income, divided by the purchase price. Oops, I was gonna put spice, but I'm doing price. Okay, so the cap rate is equal to your NOI, or net operating income, divided by the purchase price. So we're going to do a simple number just to make it easy, and then I'll dive into why a cap rate is so important, and then we'll chop up some real numbers. So for example, if we had a net operating income of $100,000 and a purchase price of $1 million, and it looks like I'm writing it backwards, but that will give us 10%. All right, so $100,000, which is your net operating income, divided by a purchase price of $1 million will give you a cap rate of 10%. This is what investors want. This is in a perfect world, but it's not always realistic, okay? Cap rates can vary. They could be as low as 3 to 4%, up to 10 or higher in a perfect world. But this is ideal. If you have a property or building in commercial real estate that you're considering investing in, and you calculate your cap rate and it's 10%, that's a good investment. However, with the higher cap rate is a higher risk. A lower cap rate is less of a risk. And we'll get into that moving forward. But yes, this is how you calculate the cap rate. Basically, the NOI, the net operating income, divided by your purchase price is going to give you your cap rate. So let's get into why a cap rate is so important. Why do cap rates matter? Cap rates matter because they help us to compare properties across different markets and different asset types. But they also help us determine the risk that the investor is taking. So for example, if you have a higher cap rate, then you have a higher risk. But you also have a higher potential on your reward. Whereas if you have a lower cap rate, you have a lower risk, but you also have a more stable investment. So these rates shift based on market conditions, locations, tenant quality, asset type. And when I say asset type, I mean industrial, multifamily, office space, retail. That's what I mean when I say asset type. And then even interest rates will also cause these rates to shift. And so these are the things that we're looking at to help us determine the cap rate, and in turn why the cap rate is so important. Now I'm going to show you how cap rates are used. Buyers, sellers, appraisers, and lenders all use the cap rates. They just use them in different ways for different reasons. Buyers use cap rates to compare deals. Sellers use cap rates to price their properties competitively. Appraisers and lenders, they use cap rates to determine the loan risk and to value the properties. So let's just say you're interested in purchasing a multifamily property and the net operating income is $120,000. And let's say that the market rate or the market cap rate is 6%. your property is going to be valued at $2 million. And I'll show you how I got that number. So with a net operating income of $120,000, we're going to divide that by the market cap rate, which we said was going to be 6%. That'll be 0.06. That's going to equal $2 million. And that's what your property is going to be assessed at. So you have the NOI, or the net operating income, at $120,000, and you have your cap rate of 6%. That's going to determine the value of your property. So if you were looking to get a loan and the seller is asking for $3 million on a property where the cap rate in that area is only 6%, they're probably not going to give you that loan. They're not going to want to exceed the value of the property because it's valued at $2 million. So this is just an example of how cap rates are used. Let's clear up some myths and common misconceptions about cap rates. Number one, higher cap rate is always better. That's not true. Okay? Because like we said before, a higher cap rate often means a higher risk, and also could also mean instability. So just because you have a high cap rate does not necessarily mean that it's the better deal. And another misconception about cap rates is that it's the same as ROI, or return on investment. Not true. They're very similar, but they are not the same. A cap rate is a quick snapshot, a quicker evaluation of a property, whereas an ROI considers the appreciation of the property. They consider financing, and so much more goes into the return on your investment versus a cap rate. Cap rates are essential to evaluating deals and protecting your investments. Now that you know the basics, stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be covering net operating income, also known as NOI, step by step. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment any questions or concerns that you may have. Commercial_Catherine. Thanks for watching. Bye.